are back.
We are back, and I want to welcome all those on the chat right now. We got M's phone on the chat, Catholic Quistero on the chat, Hector and Socorro Avila, Rebecca.
I want to say something shout out to Hector. Hector, my buddy from Madero, California. This guy has been so fired up as a result of listening to the right things that
he's doing good things for the church. He's very good things for
Hector,
the church, and he's
going to help us do some great things.
He's an evangelization machine.
He sure is.
Him and his wife, they're together.
They just love the faith, and they want to promote the faith, and I'm glad I'm locking arms with him.
Yeah, and I want to say hi to Juana Gutierrez and Jacob. Thank you. Thank you for joining us on the chat, and we're back. We're back on YouTube.
That's right.
That's wonderful.
So let's talk about now the way prayer increases intellectual order. It increases external order. Mm-hmm. And prayer fights intellectual, spiritual disorder, and it fights physical disorder. Mm-hmm. Simple things like get up and make your bed. Father Edward Broom, a very respected priest in the LA diocese. Mm-hmm. In fact, I just found out he went to seminary with Pope Leo XIV.
Wow, that's incredible.
So he knows him.
Wow, that is wonderful.
And he has wonderful. He says he's a humble man.
Yes.
Humble, prayerful, pious man. They went to seminary together.
Wow.
Father Edward.
And you know who are holy and who, by the time you reach seminary, you know who the
serious guys are.
Serious seminarians are, and what they're like. Because it really is telling, because you're with them how many years?
Exactly.
Seminary. You know their goods and their bads about them.
Yeah. So Father Edward Broom, who's a very respected theologian in the LA diocese. He's in Hawaiian Gardens. He's a pastor at, forget the name of the parish.
St.
Peter Chanel. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. He understands the theology of prayer. He teaches spiritual theology at the parish. Yeah. He says that prayer is meant to order our disorders. Mm-hmm. As a result of the original sin that we all inherit in the moment of our conception, our life is marked with disorder.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Our thought process, our will, our emotional state of being, our soul, our intention, our family and social life will all have a certain disorder.
Yes.
Saint Ignatius of Loyola suggests that we do the spiritual exercises so as to order the disordered in our lives. Sin causes disorder. Prayer brings order. Mm-hmm. Yes. Prayer to Our Lady communicates to our soul and lives the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit is a God of order. Mm-hmm. Our Lady Guadalupe, with her own hands, ordered the roses in the tilma of St. Juan Diego. By praying the Most Holy Rosary, Our Lady can help to order the disordered in our lives. Another wonderful effect of praying the Most Holy Rosary is peace of mind, heart, and soul. We all desire peace. Heck, Trump and the Pope desire peace. That's all they're talking about.
Yeah, that's what they talk about. That's why President Trump was in the Middle East. Why? Ultimately for peace. Yes. Let's get along. Let's make deals. Let's get along.
And so Our Lady of the Rosary is also known with the title of Queen of Peace. Mm-hmm. She can definitely attain for us this peace that our hearts so ardently yearn for. Mm-hmm. And St. Augustine defines peace as the tranquility of order. Mm-hmm. And as the hymn reminds us, quote, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
Yep. Our souls long for order, and we must pray to combat the disorder in our own lives as well as in the world around us. Our culture is steeped in disorder. For example, one of the two major parties in our electoral system, the Democratic Party, tragically supports two inherently evil issues that involve disorder. First, the LGBTQ agenda, especially the idea that one can choose his or her own gender, and the redefining of marriage to include same-sex marriages is an inherently disordered system of belief with disastrous social effects. We can see it right now. It's happening now. The second disordered platform is closely linked to this first, the idea of the right to an abortion is an attack on the fruit of marriage and a contradiction to the scriptural blessings to be in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. It says, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. The vicious attack, satanic attack and murder of unborn babies in the womb represents a complete disorder of the natural order, the natural good. If we cannot understand this through the natural law, we can know it because God commanded the multiplication of life. It is in rebellion against this commandment, that is, it is in sin, that man chooses to destroy life and defiantly violate God's commandment. In Exodus 20:13, you shall not kill.
Yep, which the Hebrew actually says murder. But because the family, the basic building block of society, has been so directly attacked in recent decades, it should be no surprise to us that we're witnessing our culture literally falling apart. Pope St. John Paul II famously wrote, quote, God in his deepest mystery is not a solitude, but a family, since he is in himself fatherhood, sonship, and the essence of the family, which is love, close quote. An attack on the family, then, which is built in the image of God in the Trinity, is an attack on God himself. No doubt this is why Sister Lucia, the only one of the three Fatima visionaries who survived to adulthood, wrote in one of her letters to Carlo Cafaro, rest in peace, quote, the final battle between the Lord and the kingdom of Satan will be about marriage and the family. Don't be afraid, because whoever works for the sanctity of marriage and the family will always be fought against and opposed in every way, because this is the decisive issue of our time, close quote.
Yeah. As we are thinking about this war between order and disorder, notice the primary prayer in Catholic worship is called the Order of the Mass. The order
that red book,
of
it says,
yes.
Ordo Missae,
Yeah,
the order of the Mass.
We can juxtapose this idea with the disorder of the Black Mass, the ultimate form of sacrilege and mockery. Similarly, our Catholic clergy's vocation is called what? Holy orders.
Not holy disorder.
No.
Holy orders.
Meanwhile, the satanic priests have what?
Unholy
orders. But remember,
or unholy disorders. I don't know.
And OCIA it's changed to Order of Christian Initiation or
of Adults.
Yeah. So they called it order.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we can take hope, however, in the fact that this disorder is ultimately self-defeating. For as the saying goes, demons militate to absurdity. The order of society has come crumbling down with alarming, relentless, and dizzying implosion. But the new norms that society is embracing will keep getting more and more absurd because the devil cannot bridle his desires. As things are pushed into such bizarre chaos that human reason can't help but start recognizing it for the chaos that it is, people will finally start to resist and push back. Demonic lust for disorder is insatiable, but it will defeat itself. And as we start to push back against the disorder, we will see in practice that the demons fear and flee from the imposition of order as much as they do our prayers themselves.
Yeah, well, in the last administration, we saw a lot of disorder, confusion, and then even in our church, we saw some confusion there. And there was some disorder there. So we now know that, okay, this is what it's like to be in a disordered way. We need to correct that. How? To bring order. And what does order do? How do we bring order? Through what? Prayer.
Yeah.